Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel, and hit that like button right now because we are vindicated. Now, I am going to try to maintain my composure as best I can, because reading this article the way it's framed is like watching a toddler walk into traffic. We all know here on the BuzWeaver channel that there was a coordinated effort by the establishment Uni-party and the Democrats, a cabal of people, to politically persecute Donald Trump with these civil cases that were out of the statutes of limitation. ABC News. Appeals court throws out Trump's $454 million civil fraud judgment. A New York appeals court has thrown out the $500 million civil fraud judgment handed down last year against Donald Trump, his family, and his company. In a 323-page opinion, all 5 judges in the appellate division First Department agreed that the $500 million penalty imposed on Donald Trump should be thrown out. It should never have happened. 2 of the judges said Trump was properly held liable for business fraud, but the fine was excessive. Lie. 2 of the judges said the trial court was wrong to decide Trump committed fraud and the case should be retired. Yet, I just read the sentence that he was properly held liable. These people can't even make up their minds, and ABC News is disgusting. Nonetheless, those 2 judges said they joined the decision with great reluctance to allow the case to proceed on appeal to the state's highest court. Wow! Ridiculous! A 5th judge said New York attorney Letitia James should not have brought the case in the first place. Wow. Just wow. The documentary evidence supports Supreme Court's conclusion that the Attorney General made a prima facie, that it means an impression, showing that each defendant participated in the fraudulent scheme. The opinion said the trial record is also replete with evidence supporting the court's determination that the individual defendants had the requisite intent to defraud, a necessary element of each penal law claim. No, they didn't. It's a lie. It is stupid. They selectively chose properties of Donald Trump's to weigh that against the value of what he was saying to get the loan. These people are insufferable. However, said opinion, while harm certainly occurred, it was not the cataclysmic harm that can justify a nearly $500 million award to the state. It was a sham. It was prosecutorial misconduct perpetrated by a cabal of people to try and get people not to vote for Donald Trump. James, in a statement released following the decision, said that her case has merit. Oh my God. And that she will appeal the state's highest court in an attempt to reinstate the penalty. Wow. Ridiculous. The First Department today affirmed the well-supported findings of the trial court. Donald Trump, his company, and 2 of his children are liable for fraud. Lie. The court upheld the injunctive relief we won, limiting Donald Trump organization officers' ability to do business in New York. That was also part of it as well. The statement said, we will seek appeal to the courts and continue to protect the highest interests of New Yorkers. These people are unbelievable. These people are unbelievable. The DOJ needs to hold all these people accountable for violating Donald Trump's civil rights, conspiracy of rights, and prosecutorial misconduct. This is, like I said, like watching a toddler walk into traffic. It is the most irresponsible exercise of law I have ever seen in my life. I spent 5 years in law, including the state. And anyone who has worked in law at any level, an assistant, a paralegal, an attorney, a judge, an AG, a DA, anyone who's worked in law can see how ridiculous and incompetent, the level of incompetence to create a trial, to create a case that is complete nonsense. It is complete nonsense. And yet they continue to pretend like Donald Trump and Eric and Donald are somehow still responsible. These people are absolutely ridiculous. And I want you guys to listen to this very carefully because it defines the situation perfectly.
Wouldn't there be many companies who would not want to do business or loan money to people like yourself or investors if they know that they can get away with fraud and there's no recourse to protect them?
Excuse me, what fraud? This is not about Trump anymore. When you get a developer that builds a building and he says it's worth $400 million and he wants to borrow $200 million from a bank, which happens every day, everywhere on earth, including every American city, every developer is an entrepreneur. They shine the light on their building and they say it's worth $400. The bank does its own due diligence, as was done in this case, because they're very good at it. The banks are very good, and they say, no, it's worth $300. We're only going to loan you $150 million. That haggling has gone on for decades. That's how it works. And then in this case, even, the bank that was supposedly defrauded testified and said, we didn't lose anything. We want to do business with this guy again. We'd like to. But the judge said, no, 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 no. Let's penalize this developer for $355 million. And if we're going to do that, let's penalize all the developers all across America. They've all done the same thing. All of them should go to jail, and we should stop building buildings. That's what the message is from New York. Even the governor herself is concerned about what this looks like to investors all around the world. It's not just U.S. domestic. All around the world, people are talking about what happened here. You really think people want to invest money in New York after this?
See, exactly. This is why Hochul had to come out. She was in on it too. She is part of the cabal. These people are disgusting and reprehensible human beings, and they need to be held accountable for what they have done. It is absolutely agonizing to realize what they have done. And they treat it as though, oh, well, see, it's disgusting. It's stupid. And here's Eric Trump, total victory in the sham New York attorney case. After 5 years of inferno, justice prevailed. Agreed. Now, let me extra emphasize here what O'Leary was saying, just so you guys can understand. And I'm going to frame it in a way that will make it even simpler, not to insult anyone's intelligence here, but to emphasize the absurdity. Deutsche Bank is who Trump was doing business with. And it's a German bank. It's a multinational investment bank and financial service company. And then under Wiki, is Deutsche Bank a prestigious bank? Yes, it is. Deutsche Bank is a legendary Wall Street firm that's part of the elite investment banking bulge bracket and has a long track record of working on the world's most transformative deals. What Judge Engoron was saying was that Deutsche Bank was a grandmother at a yard sale getting ripped off on a glass vase. As though Deutsche Bank did not do its due diligence. As Deutsche Bank wasn't able to figure out whether or not, or they should just take the word for Donald Trump and give him money. Deutsche Bank is supposed to be some grandmother at a yard sale getting price gouged. That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. The bank was paid. The insurers were paid. The building got built. And as O'Leary said, they want to do more business with Trump. This is the most ridiculous, absurd thing I have ever had to talk about on the channel. It is the stupidest thing I have ever seen. What an abuse of our legal system. This is the disgusting behavior of leftists who are so insufferable, so preoccupied with power, that they had to try to destroy Donald Trump for 8 years. Not to mention the 𝐀𝐦𝐚𝐬𝐿 case, which was out of the statutes of limitation, complete BS on that, and the hush money case. Not only is the hush money case as bad as this, but Cohen came out and said he was the one who paid Stormy Daniels. Donald Trump wrote a check for legal fees. They wouldn't even let him enter it into the court. Merchan wouldn't even let his attorneys. First off, Trump couldn't call witnesses, And anytime his attorneys wanted to redirect or engage in any legal activity, Merchan was going to hold them liable and in contempt of court. In other words, I'm going to say object. Anytime that Trump's attorneys wanted to object to the complete insanity that was Judge Merchan's operations on novel legal, I almost said it, BS, there's no excuse in our country, in the United States, to witness this. No American should have to witness this and then be told that it's proper use of our legal system. It is absolutely a sham. A sham. I mean, there's no other way to describe it other than these people worked in a coordinated effort because they think everyone is too stupid to know how our legal system works. They depend on people's inability to go do the research, but at the same time, anyone who countered them would get canceled. This was a huge problem because once the establishment was in power, they allowed the left to hijack our culture, our institutions and justice system. And this is what they did. They tried to destroy Donald Trump by complete scheming and plotting and diabolical legal nonsense. Nonsense. Ridiculous. Nonetheless, guys, just wanted to bring that into, I wanted to upload it here on the channel here on a Friday. I know that the Friday vlog was out and this is kind of butting up against it. But this absolutely infuriated me that this was going on. Lies. The whole thing. Nothing but lies from a bunch of people who are disgusting scumbags. But nonetheless, guys, make sure you hit that like button. And I want to thank all you guys across NewTek, BitChute, and Rumble for your guys' continued support. Below this video, ladies and gentlemen, you can find the various social media links that I belong to where I'm much more calmer. But nonetheless, guys, thank you so much for your continued support. Everyone here on YouTube, that would be the channel icon you see appearing there on the screen. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notification. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.